Today we're getting into the latest Tesla news, including another Tesla recall, the Model Y sold out once again, new Tesla incentives for the Model S and X, and more, so let's get into it. First up today, Tesla has been forced to recall all vehicles that have the FSD Beta, as NHTSA believes it may cause crashes. As is almost always the case with the Tesla recall these days, the fix is a software update, but it does affect 362,758 vehicles. That confirms how many people currently have the FSD Beta, and the official summary says, Tesla Inc. is recalling certain 2016 to 2023 Model S, Model X, 2017 to 2023 Model 3, and 2020 to 2023 Model Y vehicles equipped with the full self-driving beta software or pending installation. The FSD Beta system may allow the vehicle to act unsafe around intersections, such as traveling straight through an intersection while in a turn-only lane, entering a stop sign-controlled intersection without coming to a complete stop, or proceeding into an intersection during a steady yellow traffic signal without due caution. In addition, the system may respond insufficiently to changes in posted speed limits or not adequately account for the driver's adjustment of the vehicle's speed to exceed posted speed limits. As noted by Electrek, this recall is mentioning some very well-known mistakes that the FSD Beta can make, but that's also a big reason why this is a beta that still requires strict driver monitoring. It will be interesting to see exactly how Tesla will issue a fix for this, since they don't necessarily have something that they can push overnight that will eliminate those issues. According to NHTSA, Tesla will deploy an over-the-air software update at no cost to the customer. The over-the-air update, which we expect to deploy in the coming weeks, will improve how FSD Beta negotiates certain driving maneuvers during the conditions described above. Reportedly, NHTSA raised the issue on January 25th and met regularly with Tesla until February 7th. Tesla disagreed with their analysis, but decided to administer the recall. Per usual, since this isn't a physical recall, many are taking issue with the naming and feel there should be a distinguisher. Headlines are reporting about 362,000 Teslas recalled, just the same as they're reporting about the 340,000 Ram trucks, which Ram is telling owners to park outside due to fire risk. They are entirely different types of recalls, but since there's no distinguisher, there's no way to know without reading deep into an article about it. Additionally, you have to dig quite a bit more to find this Ram recall, and you don't really see it from major news sources. Elon Musk commented on this issue, which comes to light with each Tesla software recall, saying, "The word recall for an over-the-air software update is anachronistic and just flat wrong." What will be very interesting to see with this recall is how Tesla will handle it. A few months ago, Tesla recalled 1.1 million vehicles, and it was a similar situation. There was a window issue that needed fixing, and the fix there was a software update. In that case, the update fixed it entirely, but the FSD Beta is far more complicated, and it's a work in progress. The issues Tesla needs to fix here are traveling or turning through certain intersections during a stale yellow traffic light, the perceived duration of the vehicle's static position at certain intersections with a stop sign, adjusting vehicle speed while traveling through certain variable speed zones based on detected speed limit signage and or the vehicle's speed offset setting that is adjusted by the driver, and negotiating a lane change out of certain turn-only lanes to continue traveling straight. From what I can tell, Tesla may have to roll back some FSD Beta functionality in order to fix these issues, because these are all things that Tesla has been working on for a long time with this beta. They are big main issues that point to the fact that Elon may be a little ambitious with his FSD promises, but at the same time, the way Tesla goes about fixing them is by seeing the issues happen to beta testers. Beta testers strictly monitor FSD, Tesla collects data from that testing, and improves things over time. This recall sounds like it may roll back certain functionality across the board, making it harder for them to get the data to fix these problems on a larger scale. It'll be interesting to see exactly what happens with this recall because it's a software fix, but it's not the same as most recalls we see from Tesla. Next up today, the Tesla Model Y continues selling like crazy everywhere, and especially the US. Globally, the Model Y was the best-selling vehicle by revenue in 2022 and fourth by units sold. Many expect that 2023 will be the year it takes first place by units sold. Even with recent price increases, people keep buying the Model Y, and it's largely because it's a good product, it's available to buy, they dropped the price $13,000 in January, and it qualifies for the federal tax credit of $7,500. So even though the price is back up to $54,990, it's far cheaper than it was just a few months ago. As a result, this means that those wait times we saw approach 11 months last year may be returning soon enough. Right now, if you configure a Model 3 standard range or performance, you could take delivery as soon as this month. Even though the Model Y has much larger output than the Model 3, and is the exclusive car Tesla is making at Giga Texas for the moment. Its wait time has extended such that the car is sold out for the entire quarter. For a Model Y long range, the most popular model, estimated delivery now shows April to June of 2023. The performance model is available a bit earlier, with estimated delivery from March to April of 2023. What this means is that for the $7,500 tax credit, it could qualify fully or not. On Tesla's Model Y website, they say new Model 3 and Model Y vehicles qualify for a federal tax credit for eligible buyers. This credit amount is in effect for deliveries until March 2023. When you click for more details, they add that this credit amount applies to deliveries now and may change during March 2023, at which point the credit value may be reduced. This is referring to the fact that the federal EV tax credit of $7,500 is actually broken down into two different parts. $3,750 of the new credit is based upon the vehicle having at least 40% of its battery critical minerals from the United States or countries with a free trade agreement with the United States. The other $3,750 of the new credit is based on at least 50% of the battery components of the vehicle coming from the United States or countries with a free trade agreement with the US. That tax credit went into effect in January, but the government wasn't ready with the guidance on battery requirements yet, so they delayed those requirements until March. Essentially, that has meant that many more EVs qualify for the full tax credit right now than will come March. So just as we were waiting to see which EVs would qualify for the tax credit, we're now waiting to see which EVs qualify for the full battery requirements of that tax credit, which have been on hold. It creates a very awkward limbo where Tesla can guarantee that their cars delivered before March qualify, but can't guarantee it for after. They, along with many other companies, may need to make some changes to where they're sourcing their batteries in order to fully qualify. As Plug-in America said in January, we're encouraging customers interested in buying and in a place to buy right now to jump on it, because we don't know what's going to happen in March. Unfortunately, that's the situation, and now that Tesla's order backlog is extending beyond March, it's unclear what will happen there. Long term, I think Tesla will make adjustments in order for their cars to fully qualify, but it's entirely possible that come March, the Model Y and Model 3 will only receive a $3,750 tax credit. Things change so quickly here with Tesla's pricing, Tesla's demand, Tesla's availability, federal tax incentives, state tax rebates, and more. It's really tough to keep up with it all, but as I always say, if you feel you are ready to buy a Tesla and are happy with the features delivered in the car physically today, it might be the right time to buy. If you need to get one right away, it may be possible to snag an all-wheel drive Model Y standard range that they're selling in inventory. However, the timeline there says coming soon, so it may as well just have this emoji next to the estimated delivery date. That said, we may be seeing a very big hardware 4.0 upgrade soon, adding bumper cameras, a faster processor, radar, and more, so per usual, it's impossible to perfectly time a Tesla purchase. Those tax credits are for the Model 3 and Y, but for the Model S and X, Tesla is now offering a new incentive for customers looking to upgrade. Those cars don't sell nearly as well as Tesla's more affordable options, so now Tesla is offering an extra $5,000 to customers who trade in a Model S or X for a new one. They have been sending emails to customers saying, as an early Model S or X owner, you are eligible to exchange your unlimited free supercharging miles for an additional $5,000 on your vehicle's trade-in value when you purchase a new Model S or Model X. Tesla is also offering this to Canadian owners for an extra $7,000 Canadian dollars off. I personally think this isn't that much of an incentive considering the requirements. Customers trading in a Model S or X from this time period, when unlimited charging was offered, likely will get a pretty low trade-in offer from Tesla, and then they'll have to pay for supercharging once again. Overall, I think Tesla is just trying to lower the number of customers who have unlimited free supercharging miles. They offered that at a time, and now they're tired of all these owners taking up charging stalls for free, even though, of course, that's exactly what they offered them. I'm curious though, are you a Tesla owner with free unlimited supercharging? What are your thoughts on this? Leave a comment below to let me know. If I were an owner of an older Model S or X, I'd personally keep utilizing that benefit. Tesla's supercharger network is going to keep expanding rapidly, and they clearly will never offer unlimited charging like this ever again. Long term, it's very possible to save more than $5,000 by just holding onto the car and charging for free. The alternative is $5,000 off to pay for supercharging again and upgrade to a car that is now much more expensive. Again though, curious what your thoughts are if you're in that position. Next up today, we have another new Cybertruck sighting, and this time it's a pretty interesting one. The Cybertruck was spotted being unloaded from a truck, and it's one of the updated prototypes. It has no door handles, has silver wheels, but still has the normal large side mirrors and large windshield wiper. What's particularly notable about this Cybertruck though is that right up front it has Lidar sensors. Quote, Lidar stands for light detection and ranging, and it is a method for determining ranges by targeting an object with a laser and measuring the time for the reflected light to return to the receiver. In the past, past, Tesla and Elon Musk have been adamantly against Lidar, calling it a fool's errand, so it's likely that people see this and laugh because they have realized they actually need it for their self-driving efforts. What's actually the case, though, is that Tesla uses Lidar for self-driving validation. We've seen Tesla testing with Lidar on the Model X in the past and a Model S. In addition to those cars, we've seen them with manufacturer plates testing Lidar on a Model Y and Model 3. So while seeing Tesla testing with these technologies immediately makes people think that Tesla has realized their mistake, Tesla officially says the claim that Tesla may be planning to use Lidar as part of its self-driving hardware suite is fundamentally untrue. We regularly test our own technologies against other sensors to calibrate our camera, sonar, and radar system. So this sighting for the Cybertruck shows that they're doing some real software validation of autopilot and self-driving features on the Cybertruck. It's an entirely different vehicle than their others, so it requires some significant adjustments, and Lidar helps them validate their camera-only approach. There are a slew of other sensors all over the truck as well, so they're doing a lot of validation testing with the software side of the Cybertruck as we continue to see them iterate on things like these side mirrors with the final designs of the truck. At the same time this Cybertruck was spotted with Lidar, so was the Tesla Semi. The Kilowatt spotted the Semi testing on public roads with what appears to be the exact same Lidar system mounted into the hood of the Semi. When Tesla announced the Semi back in 2017, a huge part of that event was the autopilot and self-driving capabilities this truck would bring. Tesla specifically detailed enhanced autopilot, which would bring automatic emergency braking, lane keeping, and forward collision warning. They also talked about a convoy of Tesla semis where one driver leads and then two semis follow with autopilot technology. Elon said that they were confident they could do this 10 times safer than a human driver, and that they could do it back at that event 5 years ago. Well, in reality, the Semi has officially arrived with first deliveries to Frito-Lay, and as it turns out, it includes no self-driving capabilities. It has the cameras, but Tesla made no mention of this car even including some form of lane keeping at the delivery event. Clearly, the technology wasn't ready, but they wanted to ship the truck anyway with all the other benefits it brings. They haven't replaced the truck driver yet, just the diesel engine. Now that we're spotting it with Lidar, though, it's clear that Tesla is doing some validation testing so that the semis they already shipped and the ones to come are able to deliver some of the autopilot technologies they talked about at that original event. Again, this doesn't mean that Tesla realizes they need to ship these trucks with Lidar in order to deliver self-driving features. It just means that they're validating camera data with Lidar, and hopefully we will soon see them deliver those features on the Semi and Cybertruck. It's an exciting year for the Cybertruck because we'll be spotting them all over the place, and I'll be sure to keep you posted. Last up today, some updates from other automakers. Magna International, one of the world's largest auto suppliers, has announced that they have expanded their agreement with GM to manufacture the battery enclosure for the Chevy Silverado EV. That company manufactures electric powertrains, driver assist functions, connectivity tech, and even cars, making the I-Pace and Fisker Ocean. In October last year, they invested $500 million to expand their EV facilities in Michigan, where they manufacture the battery enclosures for the GMC Hummer EV. Now that expansion will be used for the Silverado, which is scheduled to enter production later this year. Cadillac is set to unveil 3 new EVs this year on top of the Lyriq and Celestiq. Not much else was shared regarding those new models, but they will be revealed throughout the year, and they will reportedly enter production in 2024. For me, we're just adding to a long list of EVs that GM is announcing but not actually making progress on, so I'm not that excited until we actually see them producing these vehicles at scale. GM may also be planning for a new 4x4 EV to compete with the Ford Bronco. In an interview with The Drive, GM President Mark Roos said he would not do a Bronco, but when asked if he was against making a 4x4 with battery power, he replied, "I didn't say that." So there may be hope for that in the future. Speaking of Ford, they paused production of the F-150 Lightning last week due to a potential battery issue. There wasn't a stop sale issued on models that were already on Ford's dealer lots, but, quote, "there is a stop build and in-transit stop ship for F-150 Lightning," according to Communications Director Emma Berg. That stop shipment and production pause was initiated after a vehicle displayed a potential issue during one of the company's pre-delivery quality inspection processes. Now the root of that issue has been identified. Ford PR said by the end of next week, we expect to conclude our investigation and apply what we learned to the truck's battery production process. This could take a few weeks. We will continue holding already produced vehicles while we work through engineering and process updates. We are not aware of any incidents of the issue in the field and do not believe F-150 Lightnings already in customers' hands are affected by this issue. So thankfully, it doesn't look like there will be an actual recall for this truck. Order holders will just have to wait a bit longer. Zoox is an autonomous robotaxi developer based in California and an Amazon subsidiary since 2020. They were the first company to self-certify a purpose-built, fully autonomous passenger EV with the Federal Motor Vehicle Safety Standards. Now, after recently getting an operational testing permit approved from the California DMV, they have shared footage of their robotaxi navigating public roads for the first time there. Under that testing permit, they are allowed to operate either empty or with Zoox employees as passengers. The company's next steps will be to open those vehicles up to the general public, but we haven't heard a timeline on that yet. Their approach is much different than Tesla's, but it's always very interesting to see more and more self-driving cars coming out and being tested on roads regardless of the technology they're using. Over at VW, there have been talks in the past of the classic Golf brand being discontinued as the auto industry transitions to electric platforms, but an insider source speaking at Autocar has hinted that that name may live on. VW announced the ID2 last spring, and there were a lot of similarities between that concept and the Golf. Now it might end up being called the ID Golf instead. VW's CEO Thomas Schaefer said at the LA Auto Show last year, "We have iconic brand names, Golf and GTI. It would be crazy to let them die and slip away. We will stick with the ID logic, but iconic models will carry a name." He's also said the company might be working on an ID Golf and that the ID3 wasn't meant to replace it, calling it a Golf Plus. Sources now claim that, quote, "the true value of the Volkswagen Golf lies in a car the size of the ID2. So it sounds likely that the ID2 we've been hearing about will be the new ID Golf." Golf is one of VW's most recognizable brands, so it's good to hear it'll still have a place in the company as they switch over to an all-EV lineup by 2035. That's all the latest Tesla news for today, so in the meantime, if you want to see the new hardware coming to all Teslas soon, you can check out that video linked up here or in the description below. Thanks so much for watching, and I'll see you on the next one.